SSC claims that they have set a brand new world record with the Tuatara. They've made some very dubious claims in the past that have been questioned by a number of different sources. We're going to talk about this, but now they've got what appears to be a brand new world record. Let's dig into this. Hi, my name is Eric, and I make videos for car, truck, and SUV enthusiasts. If that is you, please go ahead and consider subscribing. Last fall, there was a lot of controversy around the run that the SSC Tuatara did out in Nevada. It was on State Route 160. And they made a run where they claimed that they hit 331 miles an hour. Now this is a very, very big number. It is way above what has been verified in the past. So this obviously caused a lot of scrutiny, and channels Tim, Shmee150, and Robert Mitchell and Misha, they sort of examined the data. They took it upon themselves to look at it and really started to question what was going on. Meanwhile, over at Motor Trend, they basically just went with the record, and they actually blasted these other channels and said they weren't tier 1 media, but that's a whole different story. So there was a lot of controversy, and Jared Shelby, who heads up SSC, has now decided to do a rerun. So this run was on January 17th, which is just a couple days ago, and this is from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This is the runway where the Space Shuttle used to land. So this time they used Race Logic, and you might be familiar with them. They have something called the V-Box. It is used for doing timing in race cars and all kinds of different performance situations, so they're a well-respected manufacturer. Interestingly enough, last time SSC used Duotron, and Duotron kind of stepped back from that record in the press release. So now they've got Race Logic, and actually these new times have been verified by Jim Lau, who's the technical director at V-Box. So they took 2 runs, and we're actually going to look at the second run in just a second. The last time out in Nevada, SSC hired pro racing driver Oliver Webb. And this time they've actually got the owner of the SSC Tuatara. He is Dr. Larry Kaplan. So he actually did the run. Now, I'm sure that caused a little bit of concern. I don't believe he's a professional driver, but anyways, he accomplished the run, and they did 2 runs, like I said. So the first run, they hit a maximum of 279.7 miles per hour. By the way, these images up on screen, these are official images from SSC. Now, the second run, this is really interesting. They hit 286.1 miles per hour. And the first run was at 2:38 p.m. EST, and the second run was exactly an hour later at 3:28 p.m. EST. So they did a two-way average of 282.9 miles per hour. This apparently is a world record. So this was done on a shorter stretch of pavement than what we had in Utah, which is an open highway. This is a runway, and they used only 2.3 miles of the pavement to achieve this record. The last mile was used to slow down the car. So this is a lot more, there's a lot more going into this. It's a lot sketchier, I think, to do this run in such a short period of time. Or such a short distance, excuse me. These runs were captured by Driven Plus, which is a production company hired by SSC to record this. I'm going to link their video down below, and we're going to look at a little segment of this video, which is the second run. So this is my image editing application. I'm going to be able to slow down and stop the video so we can talk about what's going on here. So over here on the left from the V-Box, you can see the miles per hour speed. You can also see it in kilometers per hour, and you can see the distance in feet. So we're going to start just before the top speed was reached. So here we're coming up 286. Okay, so there we just passed it, and now you can see, I'm going to take this down a little bit real slowly so you can see the actual flag that we're hitting here, 267 miles per hour. So I'm going to back up a little bit. You can see that the top speed was actually hit before they got to the flag, before the driver got to the flag. So he actually slowed down to 267, so he took his foot off the gas. So that tells me that there's actually more in this car than 286. It looks like the 300 mile per hour target that they are going for, this is actually within reach. This is really a huge achievement, and Jared Shelby says that they are not done yet. So this is a statement to Autoblog. This current release is really just an update of the progress of our current and ongoing top speed testing. Although we did a complete and official and verified record, it's certainly not our last attempt of the near future. We are currently in the planning stages to return this spring and continue testing and attempt to break our own record and surpass 300 miles per hour at the same venue. And obviously they had so much controversy before that they are really they're pulling out all the stops to get everything verified and make sure that there's no questions about the records. The fact that Robert Mitchell is there, the fact that they are going with Race Logic and they have a verified rep on site who is tracking everything and verifying it. In fact, there's a verified statement, and they used a pair of Race Logic boxes to make sure that there was really no question as to the accuracy of this run. So Shelby goes on to say, my public commitment at the time was to utilize multiple GPS measurements, so there's multiple levels of redundancy to make sure that the staff from these companies were in charge of installing, monitoring, reporting, and validating the equipment and speeds and the distances they produced. And what's really impressive is because they had a shorter distance to accomplish this they had to use more throttle. So according to Larry Kaplan, the owner of the car, he says they used a drag race style acceleration on the runs, and they were doing full throttle and boost for 40 to 50 seconds. Back in October, apparently they're doing 20 to 25 seconds of full boost. So this is really a pretty staggering and pretty significant run. So the engine in this is a 5.9 liter V8 making 1750 horsepower roughly on E85. It's a flat plane crank, interestingly enough, going out to 8800 RPM. That's really interesting because flat plane crank engines aren't known for liking to rev really high, especially larger displacement ones like this. But the developer of the engine, Tom Nelson of Tom Nelson Racing, says the SSC Tuatara at 275 miles an hour is accelerating 10 times faster than any production car in the world. So this is awesome that this is coming from an American company, and obviously this is taking the fight back over to companies like Bugatti, obviously, and Koenigsegg. And of course Hennessy with the Venom F5, they've still got some time to produce their run. They're claiming they're going to go for 300 miles per hour too. But of course, there's the elephant in the room, which is going to go 350 miles per hour. And that's the Devil 16. And we're just waiting. Everybody's waiting for their run because they're claiming they can do 350 miles per hour, and they have 5,000 horsepower, so why not? I just drove the Lexus IS 350 F Sport. I did a full review on it. It's on my channel right now. Go check it out. Please subscribe if you like this content. See you soon.